Okay, so now we're talking about nutrition mastery for the busy professional. I want to go broad. I want to start broad and then get more specific as we go along. And I want to make sure I cater to everyone like I have been at different levels. Macronutrients, micronutrients. Macros are carbs, fats, healthy fats, protein. These are the bigger ones that usually people focus on, and people tend to forget about macros for some reason when they think about calories too much. Calories are important. I'll touch on this later, but macros are just as important. And micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals are also important, but you just consume that in smaller quantities compared to macronutrients. Okay, now the importance of a balanced diet for energy and focus. A balanced diet is important in all facets. However, you got people like keto, people that do keto, carnivore, and stuff like that, and they have their reasons. Everyone's different, everyone's unique, and I'm not saying, you know, not here to bag anything out, but for the general rule of thumb, you want to keep balanced, and because every macro at least has a role in the body. When I think of healthy fats, I think hormone regulation. When I think of carbs, I think pure energy. It can also assist in recovery too. And when I think of protein, I think it's food for the muscle, pretty much. Protein is usually the number one macro, no matter what your goal is, you want to keep high. Or moderate, at least. It's the most universal macro, you could say. And usually with keto and carnivore and stuff like that, they change how much carbs you have, and they might increase in the fats and stuff like that. So, but they all have their purpose. But the whole crux of this is each thing has its place, and I really want to make sure I'm going to freestyle this a bit less because I want to make sure I cover everything. And who knows, I might still freestyle anyway. But yeah, so when you understand the role of different types of foods and sources, you understand that you can not only have a balanced diet, but you can also time certain types of foods to enhance focus, productivity, and performance. So, you can have simple carbs and complex carbs, at different timings, but essentially the best times for carbs is pre-workout and post-workout. They're the most usual best times for carbs because they get utilized by the body the most. If you're taking carbs and at nighttime especially, there's different studies. There's many studies that contradict each other, so it's each of their own. But and definitely, nutrition wise and health wise, when you go into certain supplementations, consult a doctor or health professional just to be safe for your specific situation. Excuse me. So everything has its place, and like I said in the previous video, you can have a good thing and still take it too far. So just keep it in perspective, and understand that you can just focus on calories, but if your macros are out of whack, it's not going to be as beneficial as you may think. Just because you're in a big calorie deficit, you might not have enough fats or protein to support muscle growth or muscle recovery, muscle retention, and your hormones are going to be out of whack because you're not getting enough healthy fats. So this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to nutrition, especially for over 30s. So yeah, so this myth that carbs are bad. I had carbs my whole life, but they were bad for me because I was having too much of carbs. And usually when you think of people that are out of shape, it's probably true to a certain degree that carbs are bad for them, only because they can't control carbs. But carbs have have a rightful place in most diets, or most. I don't like the word diet, by the way. Nutrition is a lifestyle. Whenever you say diet, you're already subconsciously telling your mind that it's temporary, and your body and your mind is waiting for that one day you finish that diet so you can binge again. Lifestyle, nutrition, lifestyle. That's the number one tip here. And the role of supplements is, I worked with a dietitian couple of years ago, and this was like closer to when I was 25, a few years ago now probably, and she used this analogy. Shout out to Erica, a great dietitian, learned a lot. Really fast tracked my progress when I started taking nutrition seriously, and that was around the 25-year mark. And she gave me this cupcake analogy. And nutrition is, so you got a cupcake and you got the icing on top. The cupcake is the foundation, is the thing that takes up most of the results, and that's nutrition. You want to focus on nutrition first. Nutrition is the whole cupcake. Now, when you get the cupcake right, you've baked it right, you've set it up, it's baked and it's ready to go. Then the icing comes after all that. And what the icing is supplementation. So get your nutrition first right. And while you're getting it right, you can take more supplements. And then you'll find as you get along and you start mastering nutrition based on your lifestyle and it's supporting you, you start toning down on the supplements per se, and then you kind of get a good groove. And then once you've reached a spot similar to me in terms of how I take nutrition, and it's like you rely on a lot of less technology, and you really get focus on the feeling, and you living for performance and how you feel, and you can just tell when things needs a little bit of tweaking. You just tweak it. You're only making certain tweaks here and there because you kind of know how your body responds to things, and you're pretty consistent with what you eat and what you drink, and you have the odd night out, but then you know how to bounce back straight away because you're very consistent and you've got that thing that works for you or the lifestyle. So that's what I hope for you to achieve as soon as possible. But until you get there, especially depending on your relationship with food and drink until now, you want to just take one thing at a time, one day at a time, and focus on the right things at the right time, and then worry about the luxury stuff after. So I'll leave it at that. I'll see you in the next one.